Hey guys, as you can see, I am wearing the suit. Look, any opportunity AngryJoe has to wear my suit, you know I'm going to wear it, Joe. Why? Because we have the debut of James Gunn's DCU, right? Is that what they're calling it? Yeah. So this is the very first project in James Gunn's DCU. The very first film project is, of course, Superman. We are super excited. Well, I'm super excited. I don't know how these guys feel about it, but I've been getting and building a lot of news stories over the time. It's coming out, 2025, July. So it is essentially right around the corner. I hope we get a trailer in December. I would love to see a trailer for Superman in December and keep this momentum going because Creature Commandos has debuted. So it's the first project. I think it's going to be judged harshly, skeptically by Snyder critics and, or Snyder fans and people across the internet, as some people don't really like the fact that James Gunn has taken over complete creative control and has this new vision for DC going forward. So I was very curious about how this particular series goes. Looking up on here on Rotten Tomatoes, it seems that it has done very well amongst critics. If we look here, it is in the 92% and 82% amongst audiences. A ton of critics. Unfortunately, we did not even ask for early access, but critics have gotten access to all 7 episodes. So this is a 7-episode series. Nothing but positives here. Creature Commandos, rightest good time. Truly a blast to watch, rewatch. One of the most fun experiences I've ever had watching a superhero anything. Creature Commandos, exciting, fun, heartfelt, hilarious animated series. Wonderful start to the new DC. Exactly what you need to launch a massive franchise. Creature Commandos isn't exactly fresh, but at least it's fun, etc., etc. Does enough right to warrant a viewing, especially for fans of lesser-known characters that now get a chance to shine. And these are definitely lesser-known characters. James Gunn, that seems to be his wheelhouse, getting lesser-known, interesting comic book characters and kind of filling them out. He loves playing with those toys. And he does it again here with Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is essentially a B team of a B team. It's not even Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad has been outlawed, and you can't use human prisoners. So Amanda Waller goes around, finds the loophole, can't use humans, then I'll use the creatures. And so this is basically Suicide Squad 2. And in James Gunn's initiative, all animated stuff that's within his universe, he tries to cast people that he can then use in live action. So I think that's very interesting. I think that can come off as a mixed approach, because you can have normal movie actors that aren't very good at voice acting, but you can also eventually cameo these characters across properties and come into live action, and we can see what they look like in live action. So it's exciting.
Yeah, you have like dual threats like Megan Fox. She's an actress and then a voice actor. Right?
Excellent voice acting.
She won an award.
Yeah. Won an award in the Video Game Awards for Transformers, yes. But yeah, so we have some named actors here, including James Gunn's classic nepotism with his family, friends, and himself. James Gunn actually gets an appearance in the titles, which I find kind of awkward, kind of pathetic, really. I didn't like it. I don't know why he puts himself in there. It's like very M. Night Shyamalan type of stuff. So when they're introducing the Creature Commandos, they're doing this one-by-one thing, and it's very thematic. And then all of a sudden, you get the writer, and he's sitting in his writing chair, and there's James Gunn writing. He's like, yeah, but are you in the series?
Make me look cool.
What are you doing? Make me look cool.
Use your job.
It's Vin Diesel. So other than that, though, a little vanity there. So what did I think of Creature Commandos? Well, Positive on it. I feel like this is one that you need to see all 7 episodes, really, to get a overall view of how this project is done. What we've seen here is a 2-episode premiere, and it focuses mainly on 2 things: putting the team together and then it starts on one of the members' backstory, while simultaneously having the team go on a mission. And in this mission, they're going out to some undisclosed or some country, backwards third world country that loves American things, and they are under attack by, I think, Cersei and the sons of the Amazonians. And she's kind of convinced this group of terminally online men that she's going to help them out, and they conquer the country, and they'll attack Themyscira eventually. So she's like in opposition to like Wonder Woman. And so they use the creature commandos to go in there and take out Cersei. So that's the story so far. And I am happy with the new direction. So I would say the series kind of put me off a little bit at first in the first episode, especially seeing James Gunn in the credits, and then having this wacky music from Go Bordello. And it is constant, it is loud, it is in your face. It's not really my musical taste. I could see having fun with it for sure, but it's played a little bit excessive for me. But I think it's because it ties into the location of Transylvania kind of thing, and having a lot of fun there. But hopefully we get some other musical numbers. James Gunn is known for like blasting the music during action sequences and mixing the visuals with soundtracks, and he does it in his classic style. Here, it's just I don't like the music quite as much as others might. But if you're a fan of that band, then goddamn, you got yourself music videos essentially here, and you're gonna really enjoy it. It's gonna be enhanced. But I appreciated the animation quality, good. I wouldn't say superb yet or anything like that.
It's not Arcane level, obviously.
It's not Arcane.
But it's still good.
It's acceptable for DC. Maybe I would have expected a little bit more. And frankly, as the action sequences are unfolding, I think we're starting to get more. So I think it's starting to build there. So I think it's average at least, and potentially above average as we go along. And the writing has been good so far. I have laughed a few times, and I'm enjoying myself. And one thing I enjoy the most is I think DC animation has always been spectacular, and so you have to keep that up. And I was worried if somebody else comes in and puts their vision, is the DC animation studio going to be turned in the wrong direction, and we're not going to get the quality anymore? Thankfully, the quality is still here, and frankly, there's a hard edge to this. This is DC licensed, and it's the first time we're seeing well, not the first time, but we're starting to really play with the mature content. People get shot in the head. You see bullets go through brains. You see titties. You see nipples. I didn't expect that, because one of the first things that happens is a hot blonde gets naked, right? But they're kind of hiding it, and it's just like, hey, man, that's drawn real nice. And then you're thinking, oh, but they're going to hide it. No, episode 2, they're showing even more. So it's like, okay, I can see why this is on Max, HBO Max. This is not a series
ripped in half as well.
This is not a series for children, and I actually appreciate that. So it's probably more for adults than it is for kids. And I like the fact that DC has gotten a little bit of gumption from James Gunn to go and do mature content like this. You mix the maturity with the comedy, with the action. It has the formula that James Gunn has been successful for, and so far, I like it. Has some problems, but we'll talk about that as we go along. What did you guys think of the first 2 episodes of Creature Commandos?
Yeah, DC Animation has always been doing it right, and I feel like they are continuing to do it right. But I feel you on that. I honestly wish it would have been like a movie or something.
Yes.
I think that would have been better, because like these 2 episodes, I like it, but like I'm not in a hurry to continue watching it. I'd rather just finish it whenever it's done.
I looked it up, Joe. They're 23 minutes apiece.
Yeah.
So let's see, 23 minutes times 7. Yeah, so we got, what, an hour, 2, 3, 3.5? It could have been a movie.
Yeah, because I feel like it's just like an appetizer. It's like, well, I want the whole thing. It's like, no, here's an appetizer. You got to wait. I was like, I'll just wait till when it's done. And
Joe, these are coming out weekly. And honestly, I don't think there's enough there.
Yeah,
to
it's
do
not enough.
weekly.
Exactly. Like the first one, if it would have just like been the first episode, it's like, okay, we just got the team together.
I'd have been disappointed.
I was like, okay, well, don't really want to continue.
Right.
So I see the second one. I do see like the cool animation. It's more mature. I do like these characters. They're pretty funny. The voice actors are great. I'm really liking the voice actors.
yeah.
There's some weird moments. Obviously, Rick Flag. Once we find out his age,
Rick Flag Sr.?
yeah,
Because Rick Flag died.
Kind of weird in this episode, in the second episode. But I like it. But I don't know if I want to be there like throughout the journey.
Doing one week by week. Yeah, I get it. And it's crazy to me because Saturday morning cartoons, Justice League Unlimited, Batman the Animated Series. They're the same length as this.
But I feel like
would you be more excited waiting for those episodes than you are here?
But I feel like the Saturday morning cartoons is just like a one and done thing.
Yeah,
This is like a continuation.
Yes.
So, yeah. So
Great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
This is just like kind of stringing me along. It's like I said, the first one is like we just get a team.
What
and
is it?
that's
Serialized
That was just
versus individuals.
Exactly. So yeah, that would have kept me going. But this one, it's good, but I would wait.
Yeah, I think that this is okay. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's great yet. But that we're judging it based on 2 out of 7 episodes. We haven't presented a compelling bad person. It's just we're in the introduction phase, and we're going through things that James Gunn himself we've done over and over again. So it's like you can say it's well tread or established, storylines that work, or it's the same thing that we've seen from him over and over again, where he takes, it's like, I get it, James Gunn, you're competent, and I don't want to make it sound like I don't like it. I do. It's just if you're going to do 23-minute episodes, you got to release all of them, because as of right now, in no way am I satisfied with what I just watched.
Exactly.
In no way, because there isn't a compelling we didn't even get a compelling start. It's like, hey, there's a team. It's like cool, like the 2 Suicide Squads, like the Peacemaker ones, where we've assembled the team. We do all these other things. We're going through retreaded jokes that. I mean, the Eastern Europeans being 30 years behind the American culture.
What's that?
We do the Super Bowl shuffle. We like to say, what's that? Well, you're certainly current with your popular cultural references.
Come on, that isn't. You
But
made.
Alex, didn't you laugh out loud when I said, what's that?
See, I didn't, and it's like he even said, "Where's the beef?" And it's like kids who are watching this don't understand that.
know.
Even young adults.
I barely get it. But
Yeah, so it's like I like this show, and I want to continue watching it. I will not be watching it, or I would not be watching it week by week, because nothing has been good enough for me to tell anybody, or even get myself to sit down and watch 23-minute episodes, and then wait. When this all comes out, I have no doubt, based on my trust in James Gunn, that it's going to be funny, that it's going to go somewhere interesting, that we're going to do cool things, and I think the voice actors are all incredibly talented. Anytime Alan Tudyk's in something, you got to watch it because he's amazing. But for the intro, I don't have anything, right? I can't say that this is great. I mean, I understand good, but for me, it feels like in order for me to say that this was a good start, I needed to be have a compelling bad guy or storyline, because I think that the storyline is also a joke, which is not a problem, because I mean, he does jokey things, but it's like this power-hungry Amazonian woman tricking a bunch of alt-right dudes into thinking they're going to get
Screaming
a waterfall.
About woke Amazons and woke this. It's like, let's not do this. Fuck, you're already going to bring the fucking
it's going to get hate
hundreds
anyway.
of YouTube channels that, make money off that kind of stuff and get them to hate on your series so that they could generate money and content.
I would have liked to seen what Cersei's doing to the people in this country and go, oh my God, this is a threat we need to do. There is something major going on, and right now we just don't have it. And I know it's coming, but if we're judging it on its premiere only, I think it's okay.
I'm
but
hoping
I don't
it's
think
just
it's
not
good.
her. There's also some other threat, but
Yeah.
I agree.
So far, the writing has been good. There's mixing storytelling with humor, and there's depth there. And I can see, at least on the one character, we get the origin story, essentially, of the Bride of Frankenstein in these first 2 episodes. It's a horrifying origin story. It's an interesting origin story. It's a good one and compelling. But goddamn, that modern politics that they're injecting in here, I'm rolling my eyes. And thankfully, it's only for like 17 seconds in the first episode, and then I'm hoping we don't have to fucking deal with that anymore. But you can clearly tell that they've got the surfer dude, the neckbeard, the man's rights activist.
Oh, dude, only women can live there? What? That's so sexist, bruh.
Word is they have the most incredible waterfalls. I have this question for all the woke feminists out there. Why do only girls get such cool waterfalls?
Have all allied up, and they are the sons of the Amazonians. If you know the lore of Themyscira, you're like, well, how are the Amazonians reproducing and creating more Amazonians? Well, because they're all females. Where's all the men? Well,
life
the
finds
Amazonians, the Amazonians do raiding parties. It's almost like Viking raids where they go out and have fucking sex. Yeah, with like sailors and on ships, and you're like, damn, man, I want to get raided by that, right?
Yeah, so you get a broken pelvis.
So you get they get filled up, they get their fill, and then they come back. But before they leave, they fucking murder their partners, because they can't let people know there's an island.
I was about to say
praying mantis. So you want it, but you want that by
that's my snoo.
You don't want it. And those are, and then so when the women come back to Themyscira and they have the baby, some are men, and instead of all women. Obviously, the women get treated and turned into Spartan warriors, Amazonian warriors, and the men are called the sons, the same name that these guys are, and they're, I think they're given to another mythical person and like the blacksmith or something, and they become like a guild or whatever. They don't become these guys, so I guess that's why they're pissed, because they're getting thrown away and tossed away. I don't know if they're going to go into all that. Right now, they're just used as a joke to poke fun at, alt-right and online trolls and stuff like that.
Yeah, it feels like the Monarch, like watching Venture Brothers, and it's like the dudes of the Monarch, and it's like, hey, it's funny when it's in Venture Brothers, but when I'm like trying to think of you as a threat, I just don't get it. So
yeah,
it's like,
it turns it into a joke. So right now, like Alex was saying, the main storyline is a joke. Cersei leading a group of online trolls, essentially,
that's the problem.
men's rights activists.
Right now.
That feels weak. The weakest part of the show, and we don't want it. We don't like it. We're like, come on. Now, I like Cersei as a villain for her superpowers, because she gets in episode 2, we get our first big action sequence between the bride. We're talking bare knuckle, brawling with blood, teeth, shit flying all over the place. And it was a good, satisfying battle. So far, if I get real objective with it, the quality per episode versus a lot of other DC episodes is very high. This is high quality stuff. And when you're comparing 23-minute to 23-minute stuff in the past, it's a good sign for what's to come. And it's a good start. And I'm liking it, and and also you can tell that he's made anything James Gunn has touched has become canon. Even though it's before this is the first project in the DCU, but he's borrowing Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. And one of the first things they mention is, your daughter exposed you using Suicide Squad. You can't do that anymore. So that's why these are called the Creature Commandos, because she's using that. Mm-hmm. So that makes that canon. There was another canon piece. Rick from the remake of Suicide Squad, where Rick Flag dies in the film.
Spoiler.
So you're like, what the fuck? Why is there a Rick Flag in this? And it's just Rick Flag Senior. So he looks exactly the same.
He's got gray hair.
Yeah, but he's got gray hair. But this man...
But gray-haired dudes with beards are really cool, especially the guys writing the shows.
Yeah, so... You guys saying that the voice actors are doing a great job.
Yes.
I agree across the board. The only two for me that's a little shaky right now and that I hope improves over time, I'm not sure if I like... Harbor's Frankenstein.
No.
I don't think David Harbour's doing like the best job, and it may just be that I hate this version of Frankenstein. This whiny ass bitch, unrequited love, whatever. And then also Frank Grillo. I know the Chinese market loves Frank Grillo. He's constantly doing all these Chinese films, big action blockbuster films. So far, he hasn't really broken out in this market. He's been in a few, like Winter Warrior. I think he was like Bone Crusher or something like that. But
he was in the MCU.
Yeah, he was in the MCU. He was also in the in the old DC, or no MCU, and so he's here as Rick Flag Sr., which apparently is a lady killer because immediately the hot blonde wants to have sex with him, and they do have sex quite fast, and so I guess this is a mature series. Anyways, so yeah, that's what we thought overall of the first 2 episodes. Is it worth a watch? If you have an HBO Max subscription already, yeah, go and watch it. I think you'll enjoy it. But my recommendation is, unfortunately, to wait until all 7 episodes. Now, let me see. The last episode airs January 9th. So look at it as in 2025, we get our first DCU project. Yeah. And that way you get the full, complete story. Because I'm sure some people can watch these 2 episodes. That wasn't that good. Nah, it's just bullshit. I fucking hate this shit. It's like, don't judge it yet, because everybody that's got early access to all 7 have said that it really evolves into a really good series. But like both the boys said, it doesn't warrant that weekly format. No. This is one of those Netflix that needed to dump all the episodes
especially when it's like
once.
fucking 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Come on.
But then I can already see the pushback. But cartoons every week on Saturday was this. But then you would say, well, those are self-contained stories where you feel satisfied. It's not one big overall story.
Like, oh, to be continued. Like, okay,
and they're like, well, yeah, but that's what other TV series does. Yeah, but other TV series are an hour long. So you get kind of like a mini arc within the
There's no problem if they want to do this format, but they had to do something for me personally to hook me better.
Yes.
And right now I'm not hooked by the overall story. And it's tough because we're establishing a DCU where there's 30,000 characters that are super powered at all times, and then they can't make these characters too big because then Flash would just kill everybody, or Superman would kill everyone, or Martian Manhunter would kill everyone, or solve the problems, whatever.
So let's go ahead and give our verdicts for the Creature Commandos premiere, counting both episodes into one premiere.
Both episodes. I'm liking it. I feel like it's going to go up. For me, it's a 7, especially with episode 2. Mm-hmm. First one was like average.
Mostly set up.
It's all set up. It's like, oh, we'll do a non-creature team. Mm-hmm. Second one, there's some funny jokes. It's more mature. I like the action scenes. Pretty solid. Animation's great, and voice acting's great. So 7 so far, because we don't like we said, I'm not hooked, but I could tell it's gonna get better. I hope. Weak points, main villain. We're surrounded by a whole bunch of idiots. That's the weakest point right now. It's like the villain I don't really care about right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to say it's a 6. I think it's above average. We watch a lot of cartoons and other things, and this one feels better than a lot of them, but right now we're just at the start. We haven't had anything that I find totally compelling. We're reusing stuff that James Gunn always reuses. The music, I've seen Gogo Bordello in concert, and it's a fun fucking time. And it's too much Gogo Bordello in this. It is. There's actually times where it's awkward, where we just all of a sudden
That's why I was like, maybe I don't like this as much, but maybe.
I mean, I think you'd like some of his stuff.
I think I'd like it if it wasn't just all.
Yeah, you need to go less is more with some of this stuff. So I think it's an awkward introduction, and in order for me to consider it, I mean, I think it's above average, but I don't think it's a good intro because we haven't established anything. Everything that all my rosy feelings for are based on trust of James Gunn and like me hoping that it gets better, but he hasn't shown me anything that makes me think.
That's why it's a 6.
Yeah, I think it's above average.
Yeah. I'm going to give it an 8, but for those same reasons, because I do have confidence it's going to get better. It's laid some good foundation here. I could tell the one wrong thing is that this was never intended to be released weekly because it doesn't feel super satisfying. All I've gotten is the central conflict that we don't really care about, and then the first backstory of the character. We saw a little flash on what the next episode is, and it's going to be the next character's backstory. So I'm like, okay, well, with only 7 episodes, so what is the format of the show? Basically, the backstory of one of the characters, and then a little bit more of the overall plot moving forward with the conflict. And we'll go one by one. We'll see, are some of these characters more interesting than others? Do they fumble 1 or 2 of the episodes? And then is the overall conclusion, is that compelling enough with the resolution. Hopefully they'll go on multiple missions, and I think they might.
That's what I was hoping for in episode 1. We get the team, we'll get a little backstory when they talk about them. And it's like, okay, we know enough. We don't need to have like a whole episode like we kind of
It's pretty tough to introduce this many creature commandos.
We don't need
without,
that much, though.
In like one format
I
to get all their intros out of the way in one, and then start focusing on the mission. So it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So that's why 8 out of 10. I think they're kind of maintaining it well enough with hope that they land it. Okay, so let's go now into the a breakdown in the individual episodes of some of the Easter eggs. Hey guys, welcome to the breakdown section. So episode 1 is essentially the setup. Amanda Waller is in her, underground, agency, and they've laid down the law because she got outed by her daughter from Peacemaker season 1. She's not allowed to use these guys anymore, and so she says, well, non-humans then. And the guy goes, well, isn't, the bride a human? She's like, is a corpse a human? And I say, yeah, it's a human corpse. So there's a problem with her already. And then
Legally he's dead. Doesn't count.
And then Dr. Phosphorus, he was a human at one point, but now he's, I guess, a creature. And then you got a robot. And then you got the bride.
GI robot.
If you love
Nazi
a
killer.
robot saying, can I kill Nazis now? Like 400 times, you're going to love this. Otherwise,
Yeah, so I liked
too
it.
much.
I liked it at first.
Yeah.
And then when they started slamming the joke into the ground, I was like, oh, man, you fucked it up. Because I would love to kill Nazis. That's great. Fine. Finally a friend that I can kill Nazis with? It's like, yeah, I'll be a friend to kill Nazis with. Did you know that I killed 400 Nazis? Yeah, you just told me you killed 400 Nazis. When can we go and kill Nazis? All right, man. All right, let's
yeah,
Yeah.
Can you
That's his one
Stop.
thing. And guess what the
Stop.
next episode is going to be? GI robot's fucking backstory. So he's going to say killing Nazis 1,000 times, and it's going to get, bad. But hopefully they tone it down a little bit and make it more endearing. It's already endearing. But okay, so Peacemaker is canon. The Suicide Squad remake is canon because this is Rick Flag Sr., and it's almost, I'll get this feeling like, man, we should have just kept Rick Flag, but they made that decision. So now,
You don't like that.
his dad is basically just like him, only older.
You're not a big fan of that actor, though, right?
I'm not a fan of Frank Grillo. I don't know why.
Oh, I thought you meant like Ric Flair. Or
I'm not a
Ric
fan
Flair.
of that
Ric
actor
Flair.
either. Yeah,
Nature
I don't
boy.
think either are particularly strong as leading men. And we have Frank Grillo as a
James
leading
Gunn's
man.
going to hate you now because this whole thing is about an older dude with white beard and white hair and this young blonde thing.
Just takes
just
his clothes
just
off,
can't
wants to
resist
fuck
him. Has to do it
there.
right away.
Just fucking. He's really good at fucking too. He's
Yeah, he's
loud,
so
moaning,
good.
So good. He
Definitely not an author insert. Definitely not. Right? That's exactly what his wife looks like. But definitely not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's what I'm about to get to. So we get the intro to the characters. It's a wacky song. You get the bride. You get a GI robot. But then all of a sudden, James Gunn's in the fucking intro. He gets his own character in the title screen. I'm like, that's a little weird. Yeah, and then. Go ahead.
So Amanda sets up that this fake country has petroleum deposits, and they're about to give them to the United States, but Cersei wants to take it over first, and so they cannot let Cersei do it. It is of utmost importance that they secure this petroleum. So we're going to send the creature commandos, and so they just get transported. And this just happens to be where the bride was manufactured, born.
Yeah, I was like,
created.
what is this, Transylvania? This ain't Transylvania.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know
then
what this is.
But it's
The nation of Pokolistan.
Yeah, it's very, very fictional. Never happened.
Cersei.
And we're there to deliver freedom.
Yeah. But the first joke was pretty funny. It's gonna help if it can make you laugh. I was already kind of annoyed with that self-insert and then the woke jokes. The alt-right trolls, being a whole army of the Sons of Amazonians. And I'm like, are we just going to inject modern politics into this and, do that? But luckily they got away from it and, they made some funny jokes in here. I think, what is bow joke is funny? What is bow? What's the first joke?
So it's when Rick Flag is going to
that's
bow
what
to the
it is.
princess and the guy's like, you didn't do the super
yeah.
secret bow, so I got to kill you. And it's...
Yeah, I like that. I like the joke, and then everybody's in on it. All the big knights and warriors of Polokistan or whatever, and they all laugh, and so everybody has a good time. It was just we're messing with you, and that's when he reveals, "Hey, I've been brushing up on my American. What's up? And where's the beef?" And you're like, "Oh man, we've seen this 1,000 times."
Know that
part wasn't
was fucking old.
That part wasn't that funny.
That's
Yeah,
old.
if you were writing media for people who are media
writing it for
illiterate or
us,
media
our
inexperienced, but I've seen that joke so many times that I actively don't think it's funny, and it bothers me that they're just reusing stuff.
Then Rick Flag looks younger than his fucking son in animated form. It's like, what is
And he's
going
so
on?
hot.
And he's so hot.
fucking
So right
ripped.
away, we get this
For a
romance, this
60-year-old.
flirtation. So when they show up, they go to the castle, and it's the princess who's going to be next in line to be the queen. The queen is like super old and legitimately of the country, not
They're the
Cersei
same
who's
age,
trying to
too.
take over. And then there's flirtation between princess and the flag, and she immediately gets naked, so the hot blonde gets naked. And I'm not gonna lie, I like a little bit of maturity in my DC cartoons. It's fresh, it's unique, it's good, and it's sexy, it's sexual, but
These aren't tasteful nudes.
we haven't really seen. And she looked good, man. I don't know, it's tasteful, it's fine. But the thing is, we've seen it before already in Invincible and some of these other cartoons that have kind of pushed it forward, and it just feels like it's DC catching up. And it's like, all right, well, now DC has some of this in it. So as long as it's done well, and I think it's done well here so far. Now, the bride just immediately leaves. Everybody spends the night in the castle, and, the team is just not a team yet. You've got Dr. Phosphorus, who's in Rick Flag's room, stealing the detonator so that he can get out. The bride just literally takes off and is just mean to all the men around her, just like, give me money, and I guess she's super hot in her corpse form that men just,
She's
here's
also
my
8
money.
feet tall. It's like, okay.
It's like the
What's wrong with that?
Resident Evil
muscle mommy.
it's the muscle
Nothing
mommy
wrong with
thing.
that.
That's why he gave her the money. So she gets a cab, and then you have the little fish lady following her, kind of like a lost puppy thing. And I'm like, what is her purpose on the team? Hopefully they reveal she's got some purpose and some good powers and
But
stuff.
what happens if you take her to the desert?
Well, that's
You don't take her to the
that's
desert.
The point. That's the point. So, anyways, Dr. Phosphorus in episode 1 tries to get the detonator. They have an attack scene here where Flag. Oh, by the way, the princess took her clothes off, wanted to have sex with him as she was showing him this very old dresser, and then she goes,
This dress
boom.
is 5,000
I'm like,
years
nice.
old. I like old things.
Yeah, and she likes old men, and but he declines her sexual advances. I don't know why, but he's got to be a professional. So he goes to bed. This is when Dr. Phosphorus goes in there. He discovers him. They have a fight. And it's a cool fight. It's an interesting fight. And I can't help but think of all this in live action. How much easier it is in animation to draw this and get these elaborate action sequences done. He's punching Dr. Phosphorus. Of course, when you make contact with that, it fucking burns. And they're burning through this, creating fire, making blasts. And then they fall from, one room because it's an old, decrepit thing into the kitchen. And then they're using kitchen utensils. He puts on a fucking oven mitt so that he can start punching and slamming. I'm like, this is good. It's good stuff. And then meanwhile, Frankenstein is informed that his bride is in the area. And then that's when we go into the backstory of the Bride of Frankenstein, where she was created. How's this go down, Alex?
I think it ends right after he discovers my bride, right? That's the end of the episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
For episode 1.
Yeah. So I think not quite as strong as episode 2. I think it's a kind of a weaker start. Let's get some verdicts on just episode 1 if we were to break that down.
5 for me.
Yes.
I think that everything. I was tired of the intro as it was playing because it was
As it was.
I mean,
me too. And then I started to hate it when I saw James Gunn. James Gunn.
I mean, it's just like, look, we've seen this a
fuck
bunch
outta
of
here.
times from James Gunn, and I get that it's necessary. You have to set up the team. I get it. I just didn't think they did it in a creative way. It felt like they were doing it exactly the same way that they always do it. I didn't find the jokes funny. Like, I think, I mean, the you didn't bow right. Like, it's stuff that I've seen before, and then him doing what's up and where's the beef. I was annoyed up until almost to the end. And I think that I think the fight really elevated it.
Oh, for
I
sure.
really enjoyed the Rick Flag Sr. fight. And so I didn't think it had a very strong start.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's going to be a 5 for me, too. Best part was the fight.
Yeah, I would have been a 5. I upped it for a 6 out of 10 for the mature content. I liked it when the hot blonde got naked. And the fight. And I like the joke a little bit more than you guys. Not the fucking what's up, because even I'm sick of that shit. But, just the soldiers, having fun and just being friendly. It feels like a fun thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, slightly above average. And as we go into episode 2, things get better. Princess, at the beginning, the princess has helped cleaning the wounds that Flag received from Phosphorus. They kind of fight it out, and they have a moment, and it's like, even if you get this detonator from me, other people have the detonator, you idiot.
We're on the same team.
We're on the same team. Meanwhile, the princess gets fucking hot and sexy with him again, and he gives in to her, grabs her ass, and then we get a full-on, kind of sex scene with an animated DC. And I thought I'd never see this to this day. I thought, oh, well, Invincible is where you'd get this kind of stuff, which they don't really do much sex. They do a lot of gore and stuff like that. But here they show you a bit of it. So they get naked, and then, they turn it into a joke.
Yeah.
I don't really think the joke was that funny, but essentially the team, Phosphorus and Weasel, are out in front of the door, and you can hear them banging in there really loud, and then the guard comes by to tell them, hey, where's Flag? Because I want to let you know 2 of your members just fucking took off. And as a bro, I guess Phosphorus is like, give him 1 more minute or whatever, because it's like, it'll be done in 30 seconds. And then he's like, oh, well, I guess he has experience, and he's a James Gunn insert, so give him a minute. Yeah. And, yeah, so it's a little awkward. But, and we get the backstory of the birth of the bride. And basically, the doctor was basically teaching her. First, he didn't want to create her. Okay, this was pushed on by Frankenstein himself. Why do you get to have a wife? Why this and that? I want to have love, and just like, I want somebody to love. He's like, well, we need time. No, he gets mad. He starts breaking stuff, and I'm like, God, I'm a petulant child.
We can balance this as well. I'll kill your wife. That way, it's balanced.
Yes. The man is insane. You can already tell. And so it's already going off the wrong path. But he does it. He creates her out of, body parts. And this is graphic. We see nipples. You see everything on this cadaver, even layers of skin and severed limbs. So this is the first time I was like, oh. And then later on, because in the first episode, they try to do it tastefully when the blonde princess takes her clothes off. Yeah. When you see her from the side boob, you don't see a nipple. And they kind of hide her ass a little bit. But it still looks good or whatever. But I was like, oh, they're going to be cowardly. They're not going to do it. No, in this episode, they throw in the nipples and they throw in all that.
And there's a full sex scene. Like, this is actually the real sex scene of the thing is,
eventually, she is created, and the fucking dumbass Frankenstein, and David Harbour has some moments as Frankenstein. There's one moment that didn't land at all. He's in the background. I forgot what it was. I didn't write it down.
I was gonna say, and when he's talking and on screen, I don't think.
Yeah.
And I love David Harbour.
This is what I'm saying. The voice acting.
The Frankenstein's monster character, I think, sucks.
That's what I have. Frankenstein sucks. He's a whiny bitch. And he's mad that his bride doesn't immediately love him. She wakes up, and obviously the first person she sees is the doctor, who's kind to her, explaining necklaces, teaching her. And you have some scenes over time. They fall in love.
Poor Things, was it? With Emma Stone?
Yes. Poor Things. Yeah, basically. He's Mark Ruffalo's kind of character. But anyways, he kills the doctor.
Well, the doctor has sex with his bride,
right?
And we get the full
cheating.
Yeah,
that's the sex scene. You see some dead nipples, I guess. Well, she is a dead cadaver, so you got some full-on nipples, curves. It's it's all there. It's not for children, basically. If you so anyways, that's the backstory. The current story, though, is as the bride. Where did the bride go?
She went into back to where she was created because she was looking for a necklace.
Why is Cersei there? So then Cersei just randomly shows up. Well, she's flying outside.
The surfer dude's like, whoa, Cersei,
right.
I totally found this person. And it's like, I hate when you're on screen, stop talking.
Yeah, one of those weird guys of the Trolls army or whatever. just so happened to be in the area in this massive country. Okay, so he calls in Cersei. Cersei shows up. They have the action scene, great action scene. And then they blast that music. Yeah. They did a little bit of it already when they went to the country. I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah, cool. And then they do it again, and you're like, all right, I get it. And then they blast it all through here, and I'm like, oh,
I don't think we're leaving this country this
it's
season.
Not good. And then also,
I just didn't like that transition, too, because it was a horrific moment where Frankenstein killed Victor, and it's a sad scene, and then you get this, crazy song that's kind of funny.
And then we go back through time.
And then they start going through time and everything. I'm like, that was kind of quick.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was just wrong timing.
Yeah, it's kind of wrong timing. Also, while she's getting punched in the literal fucking face by Cersei full on, we're flashing back to a sex scene with her and the fucking doctor. So it's
pounded is pounded, Joe.
Pounded is pounded. Kind of weird. But you like it. So they superimpose that sex scene of getting punched in the face.
We learned something about it.
That was a funny joke.
Yeah.
Anyways, surprisingly, and I'm looking at and the Bride of Frankenstein, she seems to be good in hand-to-hand combat. I'm a little surprised by the abilities they gave her. I guess they give her super strength in some way, but she's a good person, and essentially she's saving the little lost puppy fish lady, and she's avoiding blasts, and it's fun. And then she starts to get the upper hand, but Cersei does have magical powers, and once she starts using her magical powers, she actually transforms the lady's fist into wacky inflatable tube men. And then she's not able to do that. She just beats the shit out of her, knocks her up over the castle where she falls. Meanwhile, the alt-right troll men's rights army shows up and shoots the fish lady's helmet off. Doesn't shoot her in the head, but her helmet explodes, and she can't breathe because she's a fish lady. And so
it's raining.
And it's raining, thankfully. And so they're both laying on the ground, and she's like, I'm sorry. The bride says to her, and she's like, fuck off, or something like that. And then she smiles. And so you get this, camaraderie here. This is good character development. This is the stuff that James Gunn knows how to do. I hope all this translates into, and I should have put this in the review, is writing a well-known character. We've seen James Gunn be able to take these, misfits, do the misfits. Did it for Suicide Squad. Did it for Peacemaker. Did it for Creature Commandos. Can he do it in an established franchise where there's not misfits? This is Superman. But it's good writing is good writing. So hopefully that translates.
He's going to turn Superman into a comedian.
But I think certain aspects of him need to be restrained when you're doing Superman, and other aspects of him need to be boosted because Superman's a different thing. We'll see. If he pulls it off, then he's going to be a master writer and deserves to be in charge, like Kevin Feige deserved to be in charge of Marvel here. We'll see. Mm-hmm. But I think this second episode, much better. Am I missing anything from it?
No, I think so. I think you hit all the things. I mean, there were
pretty much.
Yeah, there was the excellent action scene that we didn't talk about is the bride murdering, physically fist murdering all of the dudes in the house before she jumps outside. Because she fights Cersei a bunch, but she also just snaps the necks of all these dudes and throws them through walls, and so
it was good stuff.
That was good stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of the flashback scenes were also good. Touching her, getting a gift from the doctor, and their kind of love culminating into the sex scene.
Taking advantage of someone who's mentally a child. Not cool, Victor.
Yeah, not cool, Victor. That's just cool, Victor. Poor things or whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
So, like this one a lot more. And, man, I really had no negatives. A little at first awkward seeing the sex scenes, but I kind of like them, in this
the only
universe.
Thing is, for me, the villains.
The villains. Right, but on a week-by-week basis, for 23 minutes, does this episode do what it's supposed to do? And I'm like, I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. I think this one was really good.
I'm going to go with a 7. Again, I was annoyed by some of the reuse. I mean, these are really reused jokes. Like the one when they're in front of the scene, is like, oh, you got to give them 30 more seconds. It's like this is stuff that just happens all of the damn time. awkward direction. Whoever's decided that in the pounding scene we're going to cut away to the weirdest music video that could be possibly inserted.
Oh, I forgot about this music video. Hold on. I'm going to go down to an 8 out of 10. Because that thing was reused like 3 times in this episode.
It was so jarring.
Yeah.
And then, so it's like, while I like a lot of the things, also all of the speaking parts of Frankenstein's monster bothered me so much.
David Harbour.
I think that if we're going to have the internet dudes and the surfer guy and the guy who don't like women, then you can't also have that be Frankenstein's monster's character, where he's just, he's mentally a child, but he's like, I want this woman, she's my possession type thing. I was so annoyed by David Harbour the entire time.
And I'm really worried, because it does seem like he becomes part of the team. He's got his own little vignette in the team setup where they're showing the different people.
I didn't
They
like
better
it.
not soften this character, and they better not have these two. Oh, one thing we forgot is the couple are fighting throughout the eras.
Yeah, that's the music video.
She's constantly fighting, and that's the music video there. Yeah, I didn't like that part.
7 for me as well. It did go up, but same thing we talked about.
Yeah, but it's trending in the right direction.
It
I
is
want
trending in the right
to
direction.
reiterate. I always, I
Yes.
tell people that I didn't think the first one was great. I think that this one is getting better, but it is trending in the right direction. I feel that now that we've got through the boring part, the Guardians 1 intro, the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and then the Suicide Squad, and then the Peacemaker thing, the thing that James Gunn always does at the start, that I'm tired of seeing. We're through all that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe this was a writing warm-up for him.
Yeah.
To get back into the superhero and get into the DC mindset and play with superheroes before he goes in there. And as a warm-up, I think after 7 episodes, it'll probably work out. So, as we said before, the boys gave it a 7 on Premiere. I gave it an 8. The individual episode scores are right there. We're probably going to wait. We're going to let some episodes accumulate, because these, like I said, they're not good weekly watches in our opinion. So we'll let
January.
a few pile up before we do another review. Thank you guys so much for watching. But ultimately, I think a good start to the DCU.
Yeah.
We'll see how this unfolds. And can't really gather much from it now to, this film. And hopefully this film is done at this level.
I'm so curious.
Me too. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. And we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.